Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and will we have forced vaccinations in the United States by January? Now, as many of you may know, vaccines take an average of about 3 years to develop, and we've heard a lot of talk lately about forced vaccinations. We're going to get into that and more today, but make sure to hit that like button, share on social media, and most importantly, join us on BitChute as well as Flote, because we need you guys off of this platform on YouTube, because this is the end. This is the end game. We've been demonetized and we are done with this platform. They demonetized us because we did not follow the community guidelines that said we had to follow the word of the World Health Organization, the communist entity headed by Tedros, that worked with at the top of the Ethiopian Communist Party and works with the fascio-communist globalist Chinese. I am not towing a line. I'm going to tell the truth always. So make sure to find us on these other platforms and check out ways to pledge and donate and help keep independent media alive below. Anyway, let's get into this news. As this article out of Zero Hedge says, new U.S. vaccine SAR says January is a credible goal for Trump's 300 million dose target. That's most of the United States. As it says here, as expected, Friday's press conference introduced four-star General Gustav Perna and former Pharma exec Moncef Slaoui, who have joined Operation Warp Speed to help lead to government-backed effort to develop a vaccine. Specifically, Slaoui will serve as the new vaccine czar, a term that the White House has asked journalists not to use. Well, too late there. As it says here, Trump says we'll be ready when vaccine comes. Trump says Operation Warp Speed aims to eliminate vaccine delay. Trump announces Slaoui Perna to join Operation Warp Speed. Trump says not everyone is going to want to get vaccine. Well, no kidding. Trump says schools should be back in fall. Trump says vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. And by the way, 1 out of 5 people have said publicly that they will not get the vaccine regardless of what the government tells them, which is interesting because the other day, Trump announced on Fox News Live with Maria Bartiromo that he is already mobilizing the military to get as many people vaccinated as possible. He says most people, and he insinuated if you want to go to a baseball game or a sports game, you'll need to get it. Well, this plays into what we're seeing in Canada with the Canadian government working with the Chinese army to develop a vaccine, and they're saying that Theresa Tam, Canada's version of Fauci, has said that they support rounding people up and force vaccinating them. And people won't be able to travel, people won't be able to do anything without it. And if they have ID 2020, which is Bill Gates' idea, that means that you have social credit, and essentially you can't do anything unless you have that vaccine. You won't be allowed to do anything, and this is absolute forced medication slavery, guys, and it is shocking to see, to say the least, how many people are just eating it up, saying, okay, well, whatever, as long as I'm able to go outside and be let out of my kennel, I'll take it. Just sickening. Shame on you guys. Obviously, I'm not speaking to most of my viewers here, but I'm just really sick of all the people that are just willing to deal with this. As it says, Slaoui, chairman of vaccines at GSK, who will lead the new program, says vaccines by January is still a possibility. And I quote, frankly, 12 to 18 months is already a very aggressive timeline, Mr. Slaoui said. I don't think Dr. Fauci was wrong, but Mr. Slaoui said he was undaunted by the president's goal. And I quote, I would not have committed unless I thought it was achievable. Mr. Slaoui said, adding that he told the president that when he met with him for the first time on Wednesday at the White House and Mr. Trump asked if the goal was realistic. I also want to add, by the way, that Trump is playing both sides on this, and that's exactly what politicians do. You can like him, you can hate him, I don't care. Point is, that's what politicians do, and politicians are actors, and they get people on their base to sit on their hands while people on the other side foam at the mouth, and then they attack each other, and nothing is done about the actual entity itself that's doing these things to people. And then they elect a new person and it goes in a circle for freaking ever, and it's so infuriating to watch. And for those of you that said Trump didn't say that about mobilizing the military, yes, he did. He literally said it on video. I would play the video on here, but YouTube takes down channels now for using fair use, even though it's totally legally applicable and okay to use. But anyway, point is, he did say it, and they have been talking about mobilizing the military. They've got all these syringes at the ready to fill with this so-called vaccine, which doesn't even make sense, because how do you even vaccinate against this? It's so stupid. It doesn't even make sense. It has no medical sense. It's all about fear and controlling the masses. That's what it's all about. That's what it's been about since day one. But anyway, continuing on with the story here, as it says, the New York Times reminds us that as Trump announced last month, Operation Warp Speed aims to produce 300 million doses of a vaccine by January, a goal that's been almost universally panned as unrealistic. Well, it is. It'll just be a fake placebo filled with mercury and formaldehyde. And I quote, or as it continues here, unsurprisingly, it seems the man who got the vaccine czar job was the one who most willingly told the president what he wanted to hear, that the January goal is doable. And as it says here, the president announced the effort, which he called Operation Warp Speed, with the goal of having 300 million doses of a vaccine available by January, a number that would likely be needed to halt the spread of the pathogen, an unheard of timeline to develop, test, and produce a vaccine on such a scale. Well, of course, because it'll just not be tested at all, and we'll find out the side effects later on, which I'm sure are plentiful. The Warp Speed project has been described by administration officials as an organizing mechanism for an already fierce race to find a vaccine, one that involves big pharmaceutical biotechnology companies and a handful of government agencies. So much money in this, guys. Slaoui will serve as a chief advisor on the effort, and General Pharma will be the COO. And by the way, not only is it not tested and not tried, this was part of the agenda all along, folks, because they're literally saying if you want to leave the house, you need a contact tracing app, you need to be followed everywhere, every person you talk to, everything you buy will have to be monitored and caught on this database for the government to see, which would not be accepted if it weren't for the fact that people are so stupid when they get scared, so unreasonable, so emotional, so freaking stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm mad. I'm seeing children around the world possibly get force vaccinated and put into a world of Logan's Run type slavery and technocracy. It makes me sick how few people are doing anything about this. But anyway, then you have forced vaccinations if you want to go outside and smell the fresh air. Great. Thank you, government, for causing a problem, creating a bioweapon, then force vaccinating us, making us possibly much sicker. Who knows how the vaccine's going to work? I don't know. I'm not a medical expert, but one thing I do know is if Bill Gates is involved in it, which he is, you look at India and you look at Africa and ask Indians or Africans how they feel about his freaking vaccines. 48,000 people injured in India. Anyway, carrying on here as this article continues. The two men reportedly met for the first time on Wednesday, and they have been in frequent contact since then. The general said in a separate interview, they will have offices in the Department of Health and Human Services, where the Secretary Alex M. Azar II helped devise the program at Mr. Trump's request. Slaoui said he discussed the job with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, who had been searching for a so-called czar for therapeutics and vaccine development, and Dr. Deborah L. Birx, the White House's coronavirus response coordinator. General Pharma, who runs the Army complex supply chain, great, said that he was asked by General Mark Milley, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, to help run the manufacturing logistics related to the vaccine development. The two men just met, and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was heavily involved, of course, in bringing Slaoui on, while JCS chairman Mark Milley recommended Pharma. Oh my God. Well, we always know it's a good sign when Jared Kushner is involved. Weasel. Anyway, so we have this development of a vaccine that everyone's supposed to take if they want to go outside and do anything that they want to do. We have these evil people with big pharma companies that stand to make a killing. And then we have a bioweapon that's being spread on purpose, clearly. And I say that, and we keep getting vindicated with this, because I've been calling since January that they came out of the Wuhan lab and possibly Fort Detrick, as Cynthia McKinney recently said in our interview with her here at WHAM. There's lots of evidence that there's two strains that came out, and now they have what they'll be considering the second wave, which is affecting children. It's sick what they do in order to gain power. Government will always want more power, no matter what. Now, here's the thing. Fauci, who's involved in the Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases, got the U.S. government massive grant in 2015 and 2018 and through a prolonged study into 2019 for the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where he was there and he was studying coronavirus in bats that's 96% similar to the novel coronavirus, these bats coming from the Yan'an caves. Now, they were studying how to splice this and spread it to humans, and we're supposed to believe that that was just a coincidence. Come on. It's ridiculous. And Fauci is the prime example of corporatism, of corporate fascism. And you have insane amounts of money flooding to these people. Bill Gates quits his job at Microsoft just in time to start making huge money, huge bank as a vaccine guy, which, by the way, everyone is like, here's all these doctors that are giving alternative views from the news. No, that has to be censored. But you know, if we want to hear some expertise, let's listen to the computer nerd from the 70s and Swedish little girl. That's the person, a Swedish child, and some crazy evil genius that is going to tell us what we need to do. Let's listen to these people for medical advice and expertise. This is sick. This is ridiculous that we have continued on this far, and people are still buying this, despite the fact that the numbers were supposed to be between 3.7% and 7%, and now they're at 0.08% and 0.2%. And on top of that, we have evidence now from the prolonged studies that the shutdowns actually are complete pseudoscience, and social distancing is complete pseudoscience. Not only has it bankrupted everyone and pushed them into poverty and ruined millions of lives and possibly killed millions of people down the line, but we also know now that the places that had the least shutdowns, Mexico, for example, and many other places, we showed the chart before, 14 out of a million people died in Mexico. Compared to the shutdowns, the places that did shut down had huge death rates. You look at the death rates in Taiwan, in Japan, in Mexico, in Sweden was the highest of all of the non-shutdown places, and that's the one that the news talks about. I'm just sick of it. I'm just so sick of this. I'm so unbelievably sick of dealing with this. And the fact that there are still sheep out there that are buying this. For the love of God, people are dying because of this. And they say under virtue signaling that they're doing this to save lives. They don't have an argument. They just say, trust your medical experts. Well, what about all these medical experts? Actually, never mind. They're debunked. They're crazy. Conspiracy theorists. I, with my Facebook diploma, know way more because Bill Gates defended me from having to see other alternative views because the World Health Organization basically runs Facebook and YouTube now. This organization headed by a communist. It's insane. It's treasonous. Not against a government as much as it is against you as a free individual. And this is why I am demonetized on YouTube, because I cannot speak of this stuff anymore. It's against the community guidelines, and they warned me if I kept talking about this, I would be demonetized because I have to toe the line of the World Health Organization. They literally say that. You have to toe the line of the World Health Organization and the CDC. Instagram too, Facebook too, all of these major social media sites. And I refuse. I will always speak the truth, and God damn it, we have millions of people at risk right now. I refuse to stand down. Now or never, folks. This is the end game. Forced vaccines, social credit, technocracy, cashless society, forced into your house, complete control over private property and businesses, fascism and communism, military in the streets, police state, complete control over you. You can't leave your country. It's a prison planet. Only about 2 countries in the world have really stood tall in this, which is Iran and Mexico. Iran allowing people in, though most flights aren't allowed in anyway because of the airlines. Everyone's jobs are being wiped out, and we're supposed to say it's for the greater good of the greater number, and LA says another 3 months, and New York City says another 4 months, and people just eat it up? How long until people stand up and start fighting back? If not, it's their responsibility. If not, then so be it. They can forever hold their peace. But they will be very, very sorry. And I hope to God that their children are stronger than them. Anyway. Banning guns left and right, forced vaccinations, military in the streets. What more do we have here? Well, anyway, we'll go into all of this stuff much more in the future. But most importantly, guys, go to BitChute, go to flote.app, flote.app. Go there. We need you guys there. It's all linked below. Join our new newsletter at www.iambanned.com. We need you guys at these things. We need pledges, GoFundMe, Patreon, subscribe star. Just $1 or more a month makes a huge difference. Thank you so much, by the way, to those that have sent to Patreon, subscribe star, and GoFundMe in the last couple of days. God bless you all. Thank you so much. It really, truly makes a huge difference because I've given up my home. I've given up everything to do this because I will not stand down. I would rather die on my feet than on my knees any day. And I'm trying to free many people from the chains they revere. And look, it's not easy, and I'm going to have to deal with a lot. I've given up my house. I've given up almost all my possessions. And I've turned down huge 6-figure salaries from major mainstream medias because I believe in the truth and freedom. And I believe in all of you watching this. So Prove me right, for the love of God, people, please. We need to fight back. We're running out of time. This is Endgame. Anyway, I appreciate everyone watching, and until next time, check those links below. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against a mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like flote.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Flote is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Bye.